one pay-per-view to the next, it's back to predicting. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 23 of Under the Middle Rope. I'm your host, Jose Tabuada, and from one pay-per-view to another, we switch over from WWE to AEW because this weekend is All Out, one of their 4 or 5 pay-per-views in a year, and of course we got to cover it because they don't happen too often, so it makes sense to do it. And of course, I believe this is the second time this year already, at least since the formation of this podcast, that it's happened in back-to-back weeks of a WWE pay-per-view prediction. So here we are now, and it's for the most part it's a really short pay-per-view. The card is not big at the time of this recording, so we're expecting that it gets added on later, and of course we're going to talk about predictions and all that jazz in the discussion. So get ready for that. Andrew Wolf-Woolman is back. He is back with us. It's been a while since we've seen him, so good for him on making a return. The Under the Middle Rope champion RJ Stacy is not with us. He had to send in his predictions through a recording, so you will get to hear that in the show. And returning for the first time since WrestleMania, we're going to get into that, Nick Charlick. He's been a patron of the month for a few times, giving us suggestions for us to talk about on the podcast, so he's back with us. He's been wanting to come back. We tried to avoid him for as long as we could, and unfortunately, we lost. So here right now, I'm just kidding, by the way. We're very happy to have Nick. So the only thing I can say now is just sit back, relax, and enjoy our all-out predictions. Hey everybody, welcome to the discussion. As always, Andrew Wolf. Actually, not as always. We haven't seen Wolf in the last little bit. Wolf is back. And as I said in the discussion, we were very excited because for the first time since WrestleMania, as if we were actually on the WWE roster, but for the first time since WrestleMania, since the prediction, since the fallout, Nick Charlick is back. It has
on his birthday.
It has gotten happy birthday. It has gotten to the point where even his friends on Facebook, and I'm being 100% serious, I am not kidding. We had about 2 or 3 of his friends, hey, when are you going back on the podcast? Of course, I, in a very smart ass manner, said, I don't know. I don't know what the hell the host is up to. So Nick, welcome back. How does it feel to be back?
The demo god of Under the Middle Rope is back to save the nation.
Now, again, like I said, it has been a long, before we go on, it has been a long time since Nick has been on the show. In fact, it's been so long. Here's what happened while he was away. He's had 4 birthdays, now bringing up his total to 52 years of age. He's
69. He's 69 years old.
All right, 69. He's had his kid's toy box emptied out 325 times. That's a record for parents, and having to clean up as well. Having to feed his kids as well has also been a bit of an issue for Nick. And finally, he has found his kids trapped in laundry machines. So Nick, we congratulate you on finding your kids in your laundry machines, and it is great that you're back. And obviously in this disappearance, we hope that your kids didn't disappear into laundry machines, but here we are now, and I don't know what else to say.
And you'll wonder why I drink so much.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a family show, Nicholas, and Nick is just admitting that his kids make him drink. Okay, so of course the one biggest piece that is missing is our very lovely Under the Middle Rope champion, Roy Jordan Stacy, RJ Stacy. He's not here. Very similar to what happened at SummerSlam last week when Wolf was the champion, didn't show up, or unable to show up, had to submit his picks, which is what we're going to do again. So for the next 4 minutes, for the next 4 minutes, which by the way is 2 minutes shorter than what Wolf did for SummerSlam, you guys are going to be listening into his picks. So all I can say is, gentlemen, you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Here's RJ and his picks for All Out.
Hey guys, it's me, your buddy, your pal, RJ Stacy, streaming live from Tanger Outlets in Cookstown, Ontario, Canada. This is where I work. I'm at work right now on my break, and I just have to get my picks into the boys right now because I can't be there at the podcast. And because I am your current, handsome, dashing, curly-haired Under the Middle Rope champion, I got to get my picks in even though I can't be on the podcast. So here goes. We'll start off with one that I find pretty easy. I'm going to go with the Dark Order in the first 8-man tag on the rundown. This has got to be the pick. Brody Lee got that squash on Cody. I just don't see them losing this match. So we're going to start off with the Dark Order. I think that's an easy one for me. I'm going to jot that down in pen. So we're going to go Dark Order. Second off, we're going to go with the Women's Championship match, and I'm going to take my girl, Hikaru Shida. I took her in the last AEW predictions. Obviously, I didn't win that time, but I'm going to go with her again. I think she's going to retain her championship this weekend, so going to go with my girl, Hikaru, on that one. Then let's move on to the Tag Team Championships. This is a nice little storyline that's going on here. It's really giving me some nice sympathy for Adam Page. I'm a big fan of Hangman. But I do think that the titles are going to change hands here, and FTR, formerly known as the Revival, are going to take this one down here. I love both these teams. I think that the Revival will do some good work with those tag team titles, so I'm going to go with FTR in this one. So 3 down, we got FTR, we got Shida, and we got the Dark Order. And then we're going to move on to the Casino Battle Royal, which I am really struggling with. Can I take the mystery opponent? Can I take one of the million mystery competitors that I don't even know are in this match yet? I'm assuming not, so we're going to go with one of 2 names. I'm stuck between Darby Allin and Brian Cage here. I think they could go with Brian Cage to get a heel victory, but I think we're going to go with Darby Allin. I'm a big fan. I'd like to see him win this match. I think AEW is high on him. I think he's a fan favorite. I think he's going to get back in the title picture sooner rather than later. So we're going to go with Darby Allin here in the Casino Battle Royal just because that is a really tough one for me, and he's one of the only people that I know are actually in that match. So we got Darby with my 4th pick. Moving on to 5th in the rundown, we got, I believe, Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. I am a huge fan of Orange Cassidy. Obviously, I am much higher on a lot of comedic wrestlers than a lot of people are. I love the character. I think he's hilarious. I think that he can be a fan favorite in the business. I think that he's on the up and coming, but I do not think he's going to be beating Chris Jericho. Obviously, I just don't think that they can put him over Chris Jericho in this situation. I think that Chris Jericho is going to obviously Jericho's put a lot of people over in the past, but I just don't think this is the one. I'm a fan of Cassidy, but I do not think he will be beating Chris Jericho this weekend, so we're going to go with Chris Jericho with my 5th pick. And then into the title match, I think that even though MJF's been doing some good work, he's one of the best mic workers in the business right now. I'm still going to go with Jon Moxley retaining that title. He's just passing that, the longest, the longest beating out Chris Jericho in the AEW world title, the longest reign. I think he's going to continue it. Obviously, John's one of the big, faces of the brand. I think that he's going to have the title for a little longer. Big fan of MJF, sorry. Don't think he's ready to grab that AEW championship yet. So we are going to go with Jon Moxley. That is my 6 picks, boys and girls. I do plan on retaining my championship. I did consider using a poker chip or a coin like Pete did last week, just get a little bit cocky. But, we're going to go with the gut, we're going to go with the mind, and we're going to lock in those 6 picks and look to retain my Under the Middle Rope championship that I've only been able to have for about a week and a half now. But it's coming back home, boys. So live from West 49, Tanger Outlets, Cookstown, in my Kia Rio, I'm RJ Stacy, and we'll see you next week.
Well, for the record, nobody has defended this podcast title since I started this back up in February, or March, sorry, whenever I did.
And we're not about to start doing that.
I don't think so either. Some of his picks were surprising. The one thing I did forget to ask him, and he has submitted to me, is the tiebreaker, which of course will be the length of the AEW World Title match. He put 30 minutes on the dot. That is just only 30 minutes on the dot. As always, as a reminder, any buy-in matches or kickoff matches, pre-show matches will not be included in the predictions. Any matches that are added on after the time of this recording will be presented in a graphic and then updated through social media on the day of the event or as the day gets closer. So the only thing else left for me to say is just it's time to predict. It's time to predict. It's a very interesting card. And away we go. We start off with the 8-man tag team match. The Dark Order, Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, taking on the new Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, Dustin Rhodes, and QT Marshall. Kind of like what RJ said, there was a squash for the TNT title, and that Brody Lee has it. Cody Rhodes is nowhere to be seen. Very straightforward, nothing of excitement compared to the other matches. So I'm going to start off by siding with RJ and say Dark Order as well. They're a strong group. I know you have the new Matt Cardona and all that, but with Brody Lee and now with the TNT title, it's like, do you really want to pin a loss on it? I hate talking about logic, but that's my first pick, and I'm going to go off to Wolf.
Well, I'm also going to say the Dark Order because, it's nothing against anyone on the other team, but none of them really seem like they're in line for anything big anytime soon, as much as I'd like them to, especially Scorpio Sky, considering how great he is. But, you don't nuke the biggest guy in the entire show while Jose watches the Blue Jays game right now.
No, just turned off my TV. No, doesn't do anything.
You don't nuke like the biggest guy in the show in Cody just to put over Brody Lee so that he can lose to what's essentially a mixed match team. So Dark Order is definitely going to go and take the win.
To the birthday boy, Nick.
Yeah, I agree.
70 now.
70 now. In the
Happy
last
70th
5 minutes. Yeah, I'm going Dark Order as well. The ending of last week's Dynamite was my favorite ending in probably the entire run. And I just don't think you give the other lot a win straight now. You building the Dark Order back up, and I think I've really enjoyed them over the last few weeks. So yeah, Dark Order.
All right. That was quick. That was fun. So let's move on to the next match. The AEW Women's World Championship. Hikaru Shida taking on Thunder Rosa. Of course, Thunder Rosa is the NWA Women's Champion who showed up on Dynamite and wanted to put quote unquote respect onto the women's division in AEW. And so she challenged Shida. She got it. And again, I'm going to start off, and I feel like we're going to be. I feel like some of the picks are obvious. I could be wrong. And anytime when I say that ahead of time, not only do people just make the most outrageous picks, I tend to be wrong. But
yeah.
But I'm gonna say that I feel like we're gonna be very. I know SummerSlam was a very diverse crowd in the last 2 weeks. I feel like this time around we're gonna be very, very simple.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Cheetah, which is weird because I know you don't want to pin a loss on a champion. No, not many people do, but it's AEW. Sheeta's again continuing to be great as a champion. I don't see that just her suddenly losing the title, especially to somebody who's not officially part of the roster. I don't think, but exactly, I didn't think so. So I feel like this is an easy direction for Sheeta. Let's go to Nick.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's only one person on this roster actually taking the belt off Sheeta, and it's not Thunder Rosa. I don't know enough about her to really gauge sort of an opinion on this match. And I'll be honest, I don't watch any of the women's stuff on the show. I tend to skip through it now because I'm fed up of it. So it's an easy one for me. I think Sheeta's going to win it, and I think she holds it until Britt Baker comes back and takes the belt off her.
Which, of course, she's been out with that leg injury. Who has, by the way, somehow since the injury has still done spectacular work. It's amazing. Not many people, who go on the shelf, continue to run with their character, continue to run with the gimmick. So good for her for continuing that. My voice is slowly going. Wolf.
This title is not being taken away from Sheeta until Britt Baker does that. And I want to say Full Gear. Thunder Rosa, she still has a championship. She can put on a strong showing. We can maybe get some more eyes on NWA Power when that starts coming back. But you don't come on Sheeta's show and take her title. So I'm very much the opinion that we're going to keep her reign going. Baker's probably going to beat Big Swole. I don't know if that's going to be added to All Out. That's something to consider. Yeah. But I think that, what's going to happen is Sheeta retains, Baker takes it Full Gear.
Yeah. I think, but it's fair. And it's one of those matches where, like, I feel like it's too obvious. Obviously you want to be entertained by the match, and people probably will be entertained by the match. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad match, but people do tend to be a little bit upset, when like the result is so obvious, it's in front of your eyes, depending on the situation, of course. But I feel like for the most part, fans will just be like, really? Like that's a clear winner. So, and then they don't look forward to it. That's what I'm worried about this type of match, because it feels like I would be shocked if Thunder Rosa wins it. And obviously nobody knows when NWA Power is coming back. And obviously, pandemic and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be fun. But again, I'm 100%. I'd be 100% shocked if Sheeta doesn't win. That'd just be surprising. But of course, the last time I said I thought somebody was 100% going to win, they lost, aka Dominic Mysterio. So why do I write then?
I think this match really shows how thin the women's division is on AEW. Though they've had to get someone else from outside the company for like a major title match, literally the week before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Again, like it bores Wolf. It gets Wolf yawning. It's like, damn, like the division's so thin. Yawn. I completely.
That had nothing to do with it.
All right, let's move on. This is one of the more interesting matches just because of the storyline that has been developing in the last few weeks. Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, the reigning AEW World Tag Team title champions, taking on FTR, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, formerly known as actually I already forgot their WWE names. Good, because I'm happy that somehow slipped me. Dash and Wilder.
Mechanics.
I forgot. I forgot. They're in a better spot. Let's start off with that. Of course, everybody loved the debut of FTR a little while back. Everybody was expecting it. It finally happened. FTR won a gauntlet match to become the number one contenders and earn the right to face Omega and Page at All Out. And interestingly enough, Hangman Page turned on the Elite to make sure they don't win to compete for the titles. Turned on the Bucks, I should say. I should have been specific. Turn on the Bucks. So the Bucks don't get the opportunity, which of course got them to snap, and rightfully so. And then the Elite kick out Hangman Page, but Hangman Page is still with an Elite member in Omega. So this is a bit all over the place in a fun way. Again, I feel like it's another obvious result, but could be wrong because I know everybody was anticipating some sort of solo run from Page or a heel turn from Page, and it may not even be the case anymore. So Nick, let's start with you on this.
I'm really looking forward to this. I think the build they've done for the FDR Young Bucks thing has been really, really good. And I'm still not convinced Page is turning heel. I think it's going to be Omega. But with this one, I'm going to go with FTR. I think they're going to win the titles and they're going to build up to that match with the Young Bucks, maybe at Full Gear, maybe at Double or Nothing next year. And I think, Omega's going to turn on Page at some point, maybe even in this match. I don't know. I read a theory earlier that was saying that Omega maybe had Page cost the Bucks in the match in the last one, and then he's going to turn on him in this one.
It's not out of the question. Wolf.
I want the cleaner. That's all I want.
They teased it on being the Elite this week, didn't they?
I want the cleaner. I want babyface solo Hangman Page because everyone loves him. Everyone's behind him. I want FTR to win, which is my pick. You jot that down, Mr. Blue Jays. And I want that to eventually lead to our feud with the Young Bucks because everyone's expecting the Young Bucks to be the baby faces when we get to that. But no, they just kicked out Hangman Page. FTR being the baby faces brings a nice dynamic to that. They've always been the heels. People are rooting for them. People love what they can do. People love that they have the freedom to do all the things that they could in WWE, and they're not being caught putting crap on each other's backs in the locker room in some sort of weird candid camera shit. I love this. I love that it's uncertain. I love that it can go either way. I love that we're not seeing very obvious booking strategies and that we're just enjoying the story for what it is and that it can go anywhere and we're not necessarily disappointed with whichever way it's going to go. That's what I love about the tag team division in AEW. It's the best tag team division in the world, bar none. And FTR deserves to be at the very top of that division.
I agree. The Young Bucks were clearly the heels this week. They went and seen Page after and kicked him out of the Elite. They basically said, "Oh, you can't be friends with us no more."
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo. Matt Jackson's much better as a heel anyway.
I will say, I think for not for months, for years, how many times have the Bucks teased something with FTR? They've teased it when FTR were in WWE. They teased it on social media. Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean Cody Rhodes and all that. Everybody was teasing those two teams to have a match. Here you are now with the best potential scenario to set it up. And like what better way to put gold on the line? So again, to be similar to everybody, because again, this is another one where I feel like it's obvious. I'm going with FTR as well because I feel like again, like FTR Young Bucks is too much. It's too very clear of a road. The road is so direct. I would be surprised again. Me and my guarantees here on the podcast. I'd be surprised if they misdirect that or if they go a different route. They just can't. So now's the time to finally give the fans what they want. And
now that you've said it out loud, it's not going to happen.
I know.
I'm just going to buy you like a prosthetic foot so you can just put it in your mouth after every time you say that.
Yeah.
So you put your foot in your mouth.
Yeah. Don't buy me a foot, please. I'm not.
Amazon Prime.
You never know. Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio could turn up and beat them for the titles.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
sure. He's ready.
Yeah,
because
he's guaranteed to win.
Rey Mysterio was rumored for AEW for a while, so now here's the time to capitalize. Okay,
Right after he signs the new contract.
this match. So we're gonna move on because again, I feel like we've said what we need to say about the tag team match. Of course, everybody keeping square so far. There's no differences, but this may be our first difference only because it is extremely unpredictable, which is fine. I love to be unpredictable here. It is the 21-man casino battle royal. The winner. No, we cannot pick Lacey Evans. I'm sorry. The winner.
Did she already win it?
She was in it last year, right? This year? She won the title.
She was in it she was in the AEW Casino Battle Royal since 2005. The winner receives a featured AEW World Championship match. Only, I believe, 9 competitors have been announced so far. Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, The Butcher, The Blade, Eddie Kingston, many more names to be announced. And so, before we started, and we also have to update RJ, we were trying to figure out how do we predict this? And if anything, it's going to be a fun problem to have come January when it's time for the Royal Rumble predictions on the podcast, which I cannot wait for. We're almost there. But we were thinking and we're saying, how do we predict it? Do we predict from the names that have been revealed? Is there a dark horse that we may want to keep? So this is what we thought of, and this may sound pretty dumb, but it is what it is, because again, how can you predict the Battle Royal? We're going to predict off the names that were already revealed. The names that I just gave. We're going to pick 3 of them. So I'm going to tell RJ to pick 2 more, which I know one of them was Brian Cage. So excuse you.
I said excuse me.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna pick 3 out of the Battle Royal announced Battle Royal contestants and see if we get lucky with one of the 3. It's probably the safest way to try to earn the point, because especially with so far everything holding square. So I'm gonna make my first 3 picks, and it's 3 names that I feel like are kind of a given. Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Brian Cage. Those are my 3. I'm going to start off with those. Darby Allin had a match with Moxley a little while back. He was someone in the title picture, which we'll bring up later in the show. Lance Archer, amazing debut. Had a great run with the TNT title, which of course, he sparked so much controversy when he took a photo with Cody Rhodes when it was unveiled, because everybody loved that. And Brian Cage, he's big, tough guy, a guy that's kind of screams out that he's going to be dominant down the road. So these are my first 3 picks. I'm going to go to Nick next, because one of the things that Nick pointed out to me was it's hard to pick this match. And I agree, depending on the result of the world title match. Right, Nick?
That's very true. And I've changed my mind on the world title match about 5 times, and I've changed my mind on this about 5 times. So I've got 3. I've got 2 the same as you. So I've gone Lance Archer and Darby Allin. I'm also going for a dark horse and going with Ray Phoenix, just because I really love his work. And out of the other group that's in there, he's the only one that I can really see winning. Personally, I don't think any of them are going to win it. I think it's going to be someone that's not been announced yet. But out of the 9 that's been in there, I think those ones are the ones that have been sort of heavily featured, particularly Archer. That's the one I want to win it.
Yeah, so, I mean, just before you go to Wolf, I'm a huge fan of Archer. I like that small little New Japan stint that he had with the US title. He impressed the heck out of me in the G1 tournament. I believe it was last year.
Did you pick him to win it?
He is one of my 3. He is one of my 3. So I mean, I thought it was
to pick the G1 when we did the thing last year.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, I did pick him because I was impressed after 1 round. Clearly, I lost that bet. Clearly, I lost that bet amongst all of us.
This group has a gambling problem.
Sorry?
This entire group of people on your show just has an extreme gambling problem.
We really do have a gambling problem, don't we? We do. Yeah, we do.
I bet you don't.
So I mean, I
had to watch Cats. I'm not doing any more bets.
You didn't even have to watch Cats.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, for those that need to kind of remind themselves. We're gonna go back to you can click at you can click the card on the right for the WrestleMania prediction and Fallout. Nick if he got the predictions wrong, Nick had to watch Cats, or it was something fantasy football related. It's been so long now, but
It was fantasy football.
Nick saw it, and bless his soul. Wolf, let's go on to you. And for the record, Wolf, you cannot pick mystery opponent, because mystery opponent could literally mean 11 competitors. 11. Is my math right? No, my math is wrong. Whatever. 10. Wolf, make your pick.
Well, never mind then. Okay. Obviously, like, this ties into like who I pick in the world title match, whether the champion coming out of it is a heel or a face. But AEW isn't really as tied to that line as WWE might be, so it's a little more open-ended, I guess. But my 3 picks are shit. Okay, Ricky Starks,
Ooh.
Darby Allin, and Mr. Pentagon. Let's say Pentagon. Pentagon.
So Ricky Starks, Darby Allin, and Pentagon.
I feel like Ricky Starks is somebody that could definitely use a spotlight. Somebody that's not really being thought of right now, but definitely just like could put on a spectacle in that, and could play heel or face. Darby Allin is, basically like a free throw, because everyone's going to pick him. He's very obvious. It's obvious that AEW has plans for him at some point, whether that's now or later down the road. He's definitely someone to contend with. And Pentagon he impresses me in the ring. He's someone that is very underrated. He had that great match at All In with Kenny Omega. He proves that he can adapt to different styles. He's a former TNA champion, so I don't think Pentagon is one to, count out.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Again, somehow in picking 3 people, we all still ended up with Darby Allin.
He's a safe pick in these ones, though.
It's a safe pick, but I think just we predicted the first 3 matches all together. I think it would just be hilarious if we all somehow got Darby Allin right and stayed perfect throughout the show. You know what? This I think is where we will be on the fence, and I feel like I'm really going to differ. It is the what is this called? The Mimosa Mayhem match.
Oh, yeah.
The Mimosa Mayhem match. Chris Jericho.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Jericho, Orange Cassidy. How to win this match? You can win this match by pinfall, submission, or by throwing your opponent into a tank of mimosa.
Wrestling the way Jim Cornette likes it.
Yes, like the way that Jim Cornette likes it, the way that past guests on this podcast like it as well.
That's how I bathe.
Now I what?
That's how I bathe, in mimosa.
You bathe in mimosa as you're drinking a beer. Okay, I can respect that. Now,
Nick, we love you. It's your 71st birthday. You need to be more responsible.
I'm sorry.
Now, I'm gonna. Should I rant a little bit? Let's rant a little bit.
Rant.
Let's rant a little bit.
Wait. Are you ranting?
Let's rant a little bit.
Hang on. You're ranting? Go ahead.
Now, I know. Try. Be careful, because sometimes my audio can cut off with the sound of the bag.
I know. I gotta pick up an order soon.
Okay. I know a lot of people still hate Orange Cassidy because he's not the look of a wrestler. He doesn't promo like a wrestler, and I feel like it's gotten to a point where now, like, it's just ironic and it's just childish to say that Orange Cassidy is not a good wrestler or is not good because he's just the most bland, basic character. And when you have those same people saying, hey, if somebody entertains me, if somebody like can get a crowd going, they're pretty good, which is exactly what Orange Cassidy does, because even without a crowd, Orange Cassidy can still entertain a crowd. And now here he is against Chris Jericho, probably one of the best of all time, top 5, top 10, wherever you put your list. I know Wolf is like top 2 or top 1. So there you go. So, and I really do think that Orange Cassidy is really having like some of his best work in AEW. The debate was hilarious. The fact that he went off on global warming, the rising sea levels. I thought that was brilliant. The guy, the guy I still think can put up a good time, can still entertain people, can still, like, he's not that bad in the ring. I mean, I know I'm not saying he's the best, but he's not that bad either. I mean, it amazes me when people get mad at Chris Jericho, like saying that it was one of his best matches. I mean, like if it was one of his best matches, and if he loves to work with Orange Cassidy, so be it. So if this is the rubber match, like to see who gets the upper hand between one another, let him go ahead. Don't be mad. It's we've seen more childish stuff in WWE. A Mimosa Mayhem match. I mean, like God, like I feel like I can name like way more horrible examples in WWE than a Mimosa Mayhem match.
Hog's Pen.
Go if you guys can listen, have at it. I do, but I just want to see if you guys have something to add onto it before I do.
I'm not touching this.
I mean,
I'm willing to wait and see what it's going to be. Like, give it a chance before you even judge it.
Exactly. Again, like we've seen worse, like on a pole matches, like throwing mud baths as well. Or
David Arquette won the World Heavyweight Championship in WCW. Come on,
that should have been Oliver Platt.
Exactly. So I mean, like, if people still get antsy about Orange Cassidy, it's like, guys, I in my opinion, I think there's a bit of bias at that point. I think if you're consistently hating on Orange Cassidy, or if you think it's just the most bland thing, it just sounds like just bias if you're taking some of the garbage in WWE. That's all. So
I think some people just make their mind up about him before they've even watched him wrestle.
I agree. I think some people, like Nick said, if somebody probably just sees the company, oh, they bug me because they're not sometimes by the book. They say they were going to be by the book and they're not by the book. Like that's just my 2 cents, and that's my rant. Follow me on Twitter at @TheWater93. Let's get to it. I'm going. Wolf has a face that says, "God, Jose, what are you saying?" He stays silent, staring into the abyss.
I'm
serious about
it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.
You want me to interrupt you with some joke that's probably going to fly with maybe just one person being Michael Keys?
No, I think we're okay.
There you go. You can't have it both ways. Jesus.
I'm gonna make my pick. I'm actually gonna pick Orange Cassidy. I am going to pick Orange Cassidy to win this match. It sounds bold, and I know I feel like a lot of people don't want the loss on Chris Jericho, but this is something that screams an Orange Cassidy win. And this is our first difference because RJ has Chris Jericho. I just feels like that Cassidy's gonna get his buddies. Gonna help him. It's everyone's getting involved. The inner circle's getting involved. Cassidy's buds are gonna get involved, and I just feel like
Trent's
it's all.
mom.
It's who?
Trent's mom.
Right.
They destroyed his car.
Right. So I don't know. It's just Orange. My pick is gonna go to Orange Cassidy. I just feel like Chris Jericho would be totally okay with giving the win to Orange. That's just my pick. Wolf, let's go to you.
Orange Cassidy.
Oh,
because Chris Jericho doesn't need the win. He's been doing this for at least 27 years.
Is that a long career?
Nearly 30. Actually, I think it is 30 at this point. He debuted in 90. But he doesn't need the win. I guess Cassidy getting the win, it gives him a huge rub. And frankly, the sight of Chris Jericho flailing about full of mimosa is kind of what I need for completion of this arc.
You want to see him in Mimosa?
Because he will make it goddamn hilarious.
That's actually
my god! My $7,000 gear!
It's very plausible.
He's going to bitch about it forever. Chris Jericho's never funnier than when he's bitching about something that happened weeks ago.
That's very true. When Chris Jericho is annoyed about something, or like he just wants to just act childish.
Look at this idiot!
He can nail it. And he was again. He sold the debate perfectly to Cassidy. It was just fantastic. Even like when Bischoff declared Cassidy the winner. Oh my goodness, Jericho was at his classic best. Nick,
when I first heard this on Dynamite, I thought it sounded like the most ridiculous thing ever. But then I remembered this is Chris Jericho. This is the type of stuff that he does. It's going to be stupid and brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to it. Orange Cassidy. There is no way Jericho needs to win this match, and I don't understand why the pinfall submission stipulation is in there, because clearly he's getting thrown in that pool.
What if he pinned into Mimosa?
And like Wolf said, it's going to be brilliant watching him bitch about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm all in for it.
All in. I got it. Well done.
You said it.
Birthday boy.
Okay, so we finally have our first discrepancy, our first difference. Of course, RJ did pick Chris Jericho, and if again, if depending on what the next match is, because we've already made it to the main event. There has not been a lot announced for this pay-per-view. I mean,
well, there is one more match that we didn't talk about, but it's just so chaotic and hard to predict. Like, you'd have to pick who wins the tag match on Dynamite and then who wins on All Out. It's just why bother?
It's a really strange stipulation. I don't think I've seen that before.
yeah,
Winners face
It's
each
unique.
other.
I'll give it that.
Yeah,
it is what it is, and like again, like we're recording this before that AEW episode is released because obviously we need to get Patreon out to everybody and then release and so on and so forth. Just logistics, people.
Gun to my head, I would just say the Bucks versus the Express, and I'm going to say the Bucks win because there's no way that the Bucks are not on this card in some way, shape, or form.
yeah.
But again, I don't think we really need to get. It's just so much to consider before we go in depth.
Yeah, exactly. And if it does appear on the main card, again, you will get it updated, ladies and gentlemen, on social media, Twitter, on Facebook, and all that jazz. So, like it's more of just stay tuned because again, like Wolf said, we can't, and nor would we want to just predict something because if we predict something now and then it totally is like doesn't happen, then it's like wait now what? Now we look like even bigger fools. So
that's hard.
I just basically predicted it and watch it not even be on the card.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. Wolf. Let's go off to the world title match. Jon Moxley, MJF. This is a match I think that many people were waiting for MJF. Of course, MJF was campaigning to be the next world champion as if like it was a presidential election, as if like there's a presidential election happening in the States this year. I don't know. I can't confirm.
It is.
There goes that joke. Thank you, Wolf. He wants to.
I mean, funny if you're telling a joke.
Wow,
if you let it slide, then maybe people would have had time to laugh. God.
Sorry, I'll turn down that cricket.
What do I bring you on? MJF saying that he wants to lead AEW for the next 25 years. That's a quarter of a century. Imagine a 25-year world champion.
Give me it.
You mean Bruno Sammartino?
Well, my point was, I was going to say Bruno Sammartino had 7, and that was back in an era where, like, it was rarely defended. Can you just imagine MJF having, or not just MJF, somebody having a title for 25 years? That would be. I
honestly feel like Lesnar had it that long.
Yeah, but Lesnar's good, anyways.
Whoa!
Not as good as Goldberg, though.
Like, MJF is good. I'm just saying that Lesnar's great. Lesnar is as good as Goldberg. Both
Apparently
of them
free
elite,
agent now.
Both of them elite talent. Yeah, we did hear that Brock Lesnar is apparently been moved.
About Goldberg.
It's apparently moved to the
Let's not get
Olympics.
into that again.
Yeah,
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
We had a massive debate in our group chat earlier today on like what we thought about Goldberg, and Wolf was just completely Wolf was just
it was all of us. You were the only one for it.
Wolf was like,
let's have a discussion about All Out. Why are we bringing up Bill Goldberg?
Because I just wanted to see your reaction, and it worked. Again, this is why you have to watch the podcast on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, because it's always a wonderful.
It could go anyway.
Stop it! Come on.
All right, let's bring it back. God, what beautiful execution, Jose. Well done. Good stuff. MJF wanting to lead AEW for 25 years, and of course, he challenged Jon Moxley. But before that, Jon Moxley did have to face Darby Allin to see who would face MJF at All Out for the world title, which obviously Jon Moxley won. And here we are now. And of course, one of the bigger things to note is that MJF is still perfect in 2020. Again, I always get that stat wrong, but he has not been pinned or submitted so far this year, and it's one of those things where, like, okay, here we are now in the classic wrestling situation where you have somebody who's perfect, and we've seen it in the past. And I mean, of course, I will say one of the Fiend, who was on a tear as well, and Goldberg in the 90s, and so it's like one of those questions where you ask yourself, do you give the guy who has a perfect score the title, or do you give him that first loss? And I'm gonna say you don't give him that first loss. My pick is MJF, where I'm going to differ from RJ again, because it's time. I think it's time. Moxley has had a great run with that title. Don't get me wrong. But, there are times when you say, okay, you do want to see change. And it happens very frequently in wrestling where fans say, yeah, I can see that. And I think this is one of them. MJF has been on a tear. He's amazing in the promos. He's amazing in the ring. Why don't you put that on? He's a young kid, so put it on. So I'm my pick is MJF, and I want to say this is one of those obvious matches where you kind of see MJF winning, but then again, no, because like what Nick was saying earlier about the battle royals, like depending on who wins this or who wins that, would it affect this? So my pick is MJF. To me, it's fair. Let's go to Nick.
I've gone backwards and forwards on this match to the point that I'd actually changed my prediction about 2 minutes before we came on air. I was convinced from probably the beginning of the year that MJF was going to win the title all out. However, when they put this prediction in that the paradigm shift is banned, I've changed my mind, and I think Jon Moxley's going to retain because I think he's going to pull out some sort of new finishing move, maybe a submission or something, and finish him. And what people aren't mentioning, they say that MJF's undefeated. So is Moxley. He's 16-0, I think, in singles this year. He hasn't been pinned or submitted. So one of them has to lose. And I'm going with Moxley, and then I think he will lose the title sometime next year to a heel Kenny Omega.
Wow, that's a bold prediction.
Big prediction.
That's a bold prediction. All right, Nick, we'll see you here in 2021, which is his next appearance, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. He's all booked up till then. Good
And you'll
guy.
be sending me all your money for that prediction.
No, we're not doing that. Wolf?
All right. Stop talking about Goldberg. Like forever.
Maybe Goldberg comes in and
I'm
beats him.
exhausted.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't mind
Wolf.
yelling at a 72-year-old man.
So
This is going to be MJF.
MJF?
MJF is going to win because, Moxley, he's been built up around the world. We've seen him with the title. We've seen him with title in another company that I can't really remember at the moment. But, now's the time to strike with MJF, have that heel champion again. Moxley has had a decent run. So I don't think he's losing anything by cutting it short. And there's two undefeated guys. One of them has to be defeated this weekend. I think that the smart move is to put it on MJF. And from there, that opens up a whole bunch of possibilities. So my pick is MJF because he's doing great work. He's young. Let's strike while the iron's hot.
Yep. Exactly. And I think that's a really big key here. Strike when the iron's hot. Because mean, it just feels like, especially in today's day and age, it doesn't happen too often. Of course, I could be biting my own words when I say that, but just for the most part, just like it just feels like you don't see it that often. I mean, I think I can say that we just saw it this past Sunday at WWE Payback with Roman winning the Universal title. Everybody on social media getting excited about that, striking the iron there and putting the title immediately back on him after he was aligned with Paul Heyman. And I feel like in AEW, when it comes to MJF and what he's been doing and the work that he's done, that you're right. I do think that it's strike that iron, strike while the iron's out, whatever the phrase is, capitalize on what's gold, I think is the best way to put that.
I'm not at all confident with my pick here. I've changed my mind so many times.
Well, Nick, I mean, you were.
I'm sticking with it. I'm going to stick with it.
You positive? Do you want to make any last minute?
No.
Any last minute? All right. So, of course, the now that we're back down to 4 people instead of 6, because 6 is a lot. I'm not going to deny that 6 is heavy. 6 is crazy. We are most likely going to be headed towards a tiebreaker situation unless the Battle Royal says otherwise. RJ already picked 30 minutes for the world title match. That is our tiebreaker, the world title match. I'm going to say 27-33. 27-33. This is going to go long. I mean, like, there's not enough matches on the card, and AEW will tend to stretch out their world title matches. So 27-33. Wolf?
23-45.
23-45.
It's going to go long, but not that long. So 23-45.
Nick?
I'll go 25-40.
25-40. Okay, so Wolf has all the under. RJ has all the overs. 25-40, you said?
Yeah.
25-40? 25-40. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I had a feeling it was going to be a short show. We're at 42 minutes, which, to many people that sounds like a lot, but in podcast times and when you have a short pay-per-view like what we do,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. All right, fine. We may be anticipating more matches coming So we're not sure about that. Any final thoughts, any expectations, gentlemen, before we wrap up? Wolf?
I'm just really excited to see Chris Jericho dumped into a pile of mimosa. Great.
Nick?
I'm looking forward to the show, but looking at the card, it's a bit underwhelming for me. Like I said to you earlier, I think this is the least excited I've been for an AEW pay-per-view, but they've not done a bad one yet, so I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, I did feel like there was a bit more hype, a bit more excitement heading in towards Double or Nothing. I feel like we were a bit more, a bit more excited, a bit more fun. Mind you, we had 5 people at the same time on, so but also as well, like having 3 people be on camera and missing our 4th, can maybe reduce that a bit of excitement. But Nick's right. There is like a sort of a bit of underwhelming, but yeah, there hasn't really been a bad AEW show. AEW delivers. They do tend to deliver for the most part. And there's not too many. I mean, there are flaws. I'm not gonna say it's perfect just to appease some of the AEW haters, but obviously we're gonna give this a chance. We're gonna see how it goes. And
we've had a lot of wrestling over the last couple of weeks as well, so it might be that it's the last one of all of the shows that we've had.
That's also true. We've been very, especially on this podcast, we've been very prediction heavy in the last few weeks or so. That I forget that we have some segments like Patron of the Month or other things we may want to talk about. So we are going to leave it at that. Wolf, great to see you back, buddy. Always happy to have you back. Nick,
I'll see you guys again when I see you.
Yeah, I guess we're not going to see you for the Fallout. And Nick, oh, what a pleasure to see you. It's always many people have been asking, and you replaced the local Brit in Pete, which I'm not saying it's bad or I'm not saying it's good, but it's
you're nice saying it's bad when you win the Monday Night Ratings war.
Against whoever. That's all. We're gonna wrap it up here. Let's get to the closing. You made it to the end of the episode. You made it to the end, and I just want to say at this time, I apologize if the video quality looks a bit weird. It's coming out weird from my end. Just a little disclaimer. Not sure what's going on with the recording, but anyways, we carry on. We expected it to be a short episode. We didn't have much to predict. There wasn't that much announced for All Out. Of course, we expect the card to be added on once Dynamite comes and goes, and then once All Out happens. So we are very much looking forward to talking about a lot more, and expect this graphic that you're about to see now to be filled up way more. We all picked Dark Order for the 8-man tag team match. We all went Hikaru Shida. We all picked FTR for the 21-man Casino Battle Royal. RJ and I somehow ended up with the same 3 picks: Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Brian Cage. Wolf went with Darby Allin, Ridley Starks, Pentagon Jr. Nick went with Darby Allin, Lance Archer, and Rey Fenix. Everybody but RJ picked Orange Cassidy, as he picked Chris Jericho for the Mimosa Mayhem match. We're split on the world title, with myself and Wolf picking MJF. RJ and Nick picked Jon Moxley. And then for the tiebreaker, which is the length of the world title match, I went with 27:33. RJ went with 30 minutes on the dot. Wolf went 23:45, and Nick went with 25:40. And that graphic looks way different compared to SummerSlam in the past 2 weeks. But even though there's not a lot announced, we know it's AEW. We know they tend to put on good shows, so we're very much looking forward to what happens tomorrow night for All Out. So that being said, all I need to say is just that. Thank you so much for watching. Become a patron. Help support the podcast. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. I'm Jose Tawada. Enjoy All Out. We will see you guys next week. Have a great one. Bye.